What's going on, everybody? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at Transformers Masterpiece Movie Series number 5, Barricade. Now, I know I'm pretty much late to the party on this one, but this is actually because I've been waiting for the Takara version to come out, and it just came out this week. So I do apologize if I'm a little, a little behind, but hopefully it'll be worth it. So I don't have any other experience with the American release of this figure. I never saw it. I never purchased it. I just decided to wait for the Takara version because I have the Takara version of all the other MPM figures, and I figured I would just keep that ball rolling. So what are the differences between this version and the US version? I have no idea. Probably none, but, it was really just kind of a I'll wait and see sort of a deal. Also, because I imported this guy, it actually ended up costing me less than actually buying the US release straight away. So that version I think was like $120 or $110 shipped, whereas I paid just about $90 shipped for this guy. So if that gives you any idea about this through Hobby Link Japan. And first of all, you can see that there are a couple of differences. Well, maybe you don't know that there are differences, but so for the Takara version, you do get the Japanese writing here instead of the name of, Barricade in English. And of course, there's a whole lot of just Japanese text everywhere else, where there would normally be English text. Checking out the back of the package, you can see Barricade here in all of his little glory. He's got a rotor blade weapon. He's got a movable faceplate that looks kind of silly right here, but hopefully it'll be better in person. It is an officially licensed product from Ford, and of course Saline Mustangs and all that cool biz. You got Decepticon Barricade in English on the side here, and a nice image of his robot mode and vehicle mode kind of overlaid there. And then, of course, on the side, picture of the Mustang vehicle mode. And yeah, overall, looks really cool. I'm interested to see how it actually functions in person. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get them out of the package, and we're going to check them out right now. Alright guys, so here we have Masterpiece Movie Barricade in all of his policey glory. And the first thing I noticed about this guy is that, well, I don't know, actually. He does feel a bit heavier than Bumblebee, just right off the bat. But it's only a slight difference, and he does have, of course, die-cast metal. He's got it right here in the part that becomes the upper torso, and then back here in the parts that become the feet, using the underside of the thing. And also, one thing to mention, this blue, which is popping out on the camera, it's really subtle on the figure itself. And when I saw pictures of it, I was like, oh, it looks like he's wearing like little blue underpants. No, it definitely does not look that way in person. You can see the blue when the light hits it, but otherwise it pretty much kind of blends into the black and ends up looking more like just little highlights than actual color added to the figure. So they did actually a really good job on that, and I'm pleasantly surprised by it. So again, here is, of course, the Mustang Mode, and I'll show off all the sides and things like that. All the tampos to punish and enslave is, of course, on the side there. You got emergency 911. You've got the call number, police, of course, underneath there, as well as just some nice little paint additions to the front and back of the vehicle. You can see the headlights in there. Really, really nicely done overall on top as well. And the police on the back, and of course the license plate, which is quite clearly legible. So this is a Oklahoma license plate, and then even the exhaust pipes are painted in as well. So I guess, yeah, that's pretty well on par, I would say, with the Bumblebee mold. Pretty nicely done overall. I don't know why the backs. I think I have something just slightly misaligned in here from when I last transformed it. because normally the rear end does not like pop apart this much. In fact, when I first pulled it out of the package, I wasn't even sure that the rear actually separated, because everything was like pegged in really nice and tight. So I must have something just a little off in there that's kind of making everything kind of pop apart. But hopefully that won't be the issue for very much longer. I'll try and go in there and figure it out post video, but for now I'll just leave it. Normally it does stay together quite well. You can see the lines of the car are quite nice. And you know, even this break in the door, I thought was really going to bother me in person, and it really doesn't. I mean, it's just one of those things. If you have a transformer, you're just going to have to accept that there will be panel lines. And you know, when you have a figure like this, you just honestly be glad you got paint on there and not just, you know, terrible white plastic that's unpainted with no tampos, because they didn't want to make the break in the door that obvious. He also has some paint on the side mirrors, a little hard to spot, but you can see them there. And that's pretty much all there is to it to show off that way. We do have a size comparison with Bumblebee. You can see, maybe I'll go ahead and raise this camera up just a smidge so you can kind of see what's going on here. You can see that Barricade is longer than Bumblebee. The wheels are right about the same location, so that's pretty cool. That's a nice little knot, and they look really, really good together. You know, they look like they are about to totally fight. Now, the one kind of bummer, you know, that I noticed right off the bat that is not a thing with Bumblebee is the fact that B here can hold his weapon in his vehicle mode, and he does it very cleverly just underneath there. Where Barricade, he's got this giant Cuisinart of death thing going on here, and he gets a nice display stand for it, so you know, I can't be too mad about it. But it is huge. It's like it's really big. It's like the size of my hand. And of course, you know, it can spin, does all those nice things, and it looks good. It looks cool. It looks very menacing, but it is huge, and it does take up a lot of space, and it does not fit anywhere in the vehicle mode, because it is like, you know, takes up most of the vehicle mode, as you can see. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure honestly if there was like a more elegant way to have done that, but overall, you know, it's a compromise I can live with. So yeah, that's just the way it goes. All right, so let's pause the video for just a moment here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get prepared to transform this guy, and I'll meet you back here in just 1 second. Alright guys, just wanted to make sure that, you know, my battery was topped off and all that stuff before I started recording this transformation, because honestly I don't know how long it's going to take. Alright, so first step to transforming Barricade, what we're going to do is we're going to come around the back of the car, and we're just going to go ahead and start separating these rear panels, and sometimes maybe the roof of the car will pop up, and that's fine. It's not a problem at this stage. So we're just going to keep kind of massaging things apart, just like that. And then we come to the front, and we're just going to split this all out, and we're just going to get the side panel of the car, which actually is going to become the robot arms, out of the way. We'll do that same thing on the other side. Now it says to lift these panels up to make clearance for the claws to come out, but I don't do that because, quite frankly, these do not want to clear the windshield, so you have to kind of force them. You have to kind of, you know, force them out of shape to do that, and I'm afraid that, you know, it's going to either break or weaken the joint or something, and I don't want to mess with it personally, so I just leave it, and I just keep kind of massaging these out. There we go. Until they are out of the way. Come on, there we go. Alright, that's done. How exciting. So what we will do with these panels, we're actually going to go ahead and point them down and kind of swing them down and underneath for now, just to kind of get them out of the way of what we've got going on. So now we can actually just take the windshield, bring it up a little bit, and we'll bring this this back panel up and over, and we're just going to rest it just like that for the moment. And we can even go ahead and swing these light bar pieces out and around for reasons. I don't know, it's part of the transformation. That's all I really know. Alright, so now we're going to come around to, well, let's do the arms. So we're going to come over here. You can see we've got one long piece of car going on here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the wheel and we're just going to push it out and kind of move it along until it's sort of locked in that position. Alright, so now we're going to come around here and you're going to see the claws right here. We're just going to go ahead and grab those, bring them around, twist them, and then you've got 3 little pegs on the back hand. And the goal is to try and get those into the wheel. And there you go. Now it's in the wheel. And it just clicks into place and you'll hear it. Usually, and I've done this a couple of times just to prepare for the video. Usually it wants to fight me a little more than that. It's behaving for the video, which is very unusual, so I'm very grateful for that. Next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and bring this little blue panel up, and then we're going to go ahead and fold this section in, just like that. We're going to go ahead and take the police door, swing it around, and just kind of rest it just like that, and that's going to help form part of the arm as well. And then we're going to take this this section here, we're going to accordion it up just like this. And you can see kind of there's like a big tab right here and the slot right there, and those are going to get pushed together, and there you have pretty much an arm ready to go, just like that. Alright, and do the same on the other side, which I won't go over in great detail, but I will just do it, and you guys will get the gist of it, I'm sure. There we go. And fold this up. There we go. Fold this side over. Come on, there we go. And then collapse the whole thing. Just like that. Alright. Go ahead and raise the camera up a little bit so we can kind of get a better idea of what's going on here. So, now what we want to do is we're going to bring this section forward, and then we can actually bring these panels up and kind of get them, again, mostly out of the way for the moment. And now the arms are actually, it's a little bit hard to see. I'll bring it up. You can see this hinge right here, this big piece. We're actually going to swivel this up like this, so that it brings the, you can kind of see how one side is here, one side is way back here. We just want to bring this piece up, and I'll just do it like that. And there you go. That side is all donezo. Next, we're going to go ahead and open up the little bumper on the front of the vehicle. We're going to bring that around and back, and that's going to separate the two halves of the front of the Mustang. And then we can go ahead and kind of position these how you like. And then we're going to go ahead and just collapse these pieces down. You can see a tab here and a slot back here, and we just want to go ahead and make sure those are connecting. It's a little... There we go. All right, and now we want to go ahead and bring up Barricade's, well, his whole front half, basically. So this section just comes up. It is laying flat, pretty much like that, and you just want to bring the head up and all these bits up like so. Okay, and next we're going to go ahead and take the hood of the police car and fold it over, and there are a couple of tabs here that are just going to slot into a couple little indentations in the back. So those are going to pop in just like that, and then you can kind of rest Barricade's neck back on those, just like that. Now the little winglets that he's got going on here, these can actually rotate forward now in their kind of happy resting spot. They like to be there. And this back section also has a little area it's supposed to sit into. It's got this little kind of tab here. It's supposed to just clip right in there, and it will. It just, at least on my copy, definitely does not like to stay tabbed in, but it's not that big a deal. It does pop out now and again, but again, it's not a huge deal. All right, so next we're going to take the shoulder pylons, and we're just going to bring these forward, and they have like a soft locking position, and then bring the front piece of them forward again. And do the same on this side. Just bring that front piece forward, and this comes up and has a soft locking position there. So you can kind of see we've got most of a Barricade here already. And he's got some nice solid ratchets. So now we're going to take the hips, and we're actually just going to spread the hips and get the knees up, just like that. You can flip these little spikes up for flavor, I guess. And then coming around to the legs, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this, the rear section of the car back here. We're going to rotate it sideways like this, up into this indentation in the back of the leg, and then we're going to close this over. You can see this tab is going to fit right into this slot, and then bring the foot down and flip out the little toe spike, and just do the same on the other side. Twist it around, bring it up, flip it over, just like that. Bring the foot down, and then extend the spike. And there you have Barricade in robot mode. If I can kind of get him. There we go. Haha. Alright guys, so we have Barricade in robot mode. And again, I do want to point out that the blue is really actually very subtle on the figure itself. It does not stick out nearly as much as it does on camera or in photos. And just, you know, so take that as you will. Some of you may still find the blue to be too much, too garish. But I think it's really actually quite nice to help break up some of the black and just silver that's all over this figure. So let's get into articulation. So first of all, I do want to show off the head a bit here. You can see it pretty well. The head is ball jointed. It's also on like a stalk, and can actually move quite a bit just due to the transformation joint there. So you get some really nice movement. You can, you know, have him bend down and yell into humans' faces if you want. And of course there is the opening mouth situation. You have the mouth open if you so desire, and it does not look nearly as silly as it did in some of the photographs that I had seen, because you can't really tell all of the you know, all of the sculpted detail in the face, but you can actually see it pretty well in person. You can see that there's actually like teeth molded in there and like just grindy bits and things like that, and he actually looks pretty intimidating, pretty menacing. And they did a really good job, and it's really hard to make out, and I apologize, of actually painting all of his eyes, because he does have a second set of eyes underneath that is painted red. It's very small, very intricate detail, and they actually did get that painted, which is pretty impressive to me. So you can also move the arms. They don't really go up at the shoulder. They do go up like that, but you can't actually move the stalk that holds the arm up, just due to the way that it transforms. You can get nice ratchets up and down about that far, though. You just have to move his head out of the way of his shoulders. It does get a little wonky there. The arms do go back about, straight, full straight on, and then can actually rotate up quite far, just like that. So you can actually have him even, and with the articulated fingers. Let's see here. So he does have the articulated thumb. He's got the articulated hands. So you get him hold, like this Mega Constructs figure. Hold him like right up in his face. It's like, rah, 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 rah. I'm yelling loud noises, and then throw him off to the side or whatever, whoosh, over there like a dat, because he does have the bicep swivel as well. So pretty cool. One bummeroonie is he does not have he has a waist swivel. There is a waist swivel here, but it's totally useless, completely blocked by the backpack. So that is a bummer. You may be able to actually, you can get a wiggle in there if you just move his hips out of the way. And I suppose if you even ducked his hips down a little, a skosh or two, you could even get some out of that. So that really depends on how you want to display your figure. So just bear that in mind. He does have a waist swivel there. It just is inherently blocked. He does have some nice forward movement of those legs. It is not a ratchet going forward and back about that far. Out to the sides, however, is definitely a ratchet. If we can move his arms out of the way. Oh, I didn't even show his arms forward and back movement. I'm sorry. But you can get that out of the way and get the legs up about that far. He does have a thigh swivel here. And he does have a double hinged knee, and it's a nice solid ratchet. And then the backwards, the second joint here up at the thigh here is also very, very tight, especially going back forward. So that is very tight and very nice. He does have a ankle tilt, and then the foot can go forward about that far, even farther, of course, if you put down the toe spike. And then it doesn't really go back any farther than that, just due to the mold right there. And again, this is metal die cast, so you got that going on. So he is definitely nicely posable. He does have, his body is just gangly and stuffy. He's got a lot of bits and bobs that do get in the way of his posability. And for some reason, this one panel, this one stays just fine, no problem. This one likes to fall down, and it kills me inside. There we go. I may just end up putting a little, nail polish or something on the joint there just to keep that from falling down quite so easily. But there you go. So yeah, really, really posable, really quite nice quite nice figure overall. And of course the winglings do move as well if you so choose. So let's show him off a little bit here. Show him off with Bumblebee, his nemesis. And you can see, they're roughly, well, he's actually a little bit taller than Bumblebee. And definitely wider, just bulkier overall, although Bumblebee definitely has the bulk in the legs. But you can tell that they would be a pretty good match for each other. And let me just go ahead and grab Prime as well. See if I can get him in this little thing. I forgot to take him out of my cabinet for this occasion. Let's pop Prime right in here. There we go. So that is all of the current MPM figures all together, all at the same dang time. So, you know, obviously that'll change once Ironhide shows up, but I think these guys look really, really nice together, and just really nice overall. You know, again, I said it with both of these figures, but you know, having Barricade in hand like this makes me almost kind of appreciate some of the Bayverse designs for the characters. You know, so while I'm not overall a fan of the movie aesthetic, it does help me kind of appreciate the characters and, you know, actually give them a little bit more character. So I think that's a really good thing, and I'm quite pleased with how these figures are turning out overall. So that said, Barricade does have a weapon, so let's go ahead and show how that works. So very quickly, basically you would just want to transform the arm back into a car, more or less. So you just flatten the hand, and you turn this around and all this good stuff. You unpeg the wheel from this side here, and first we're going to bring this panel down. We're going to unhinge this bit. The instructions have you actually unfolding the door, or this panel, while you do this, and I don't really see a need for that personally. So we're just going to bring this section down like so. We're going to bring the hand back and around just like that. We're going to bring the wheel back like that, and we're going to go ahead and grab the weapon, the Blade of Doom. And the stand is actually pretty nice. It's got a little cutout here that you put one of these spikes through, and it holds it steady while you plug it in, just like that. So you unplug that, and it does have this little hook piece here, just like that. And you go ahead and you're going to plug it into this slot here, and hopefully it'll work out for you, because sometimes, just sometimes, by sometimes I mean pretty much all the time, it'll go in, but it won't necessarily stay attached for me. So we'll just plug that right in. So once you have that all in there, what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and fold this section back up and peg it in back like you would with the other arm. So it does have this panel just kind of hanging out back here, and you can kind of, I guess, tip that up to sort of fill that in a little bit, but mostly you're just kind of looking at it from this angle. But he does have the spinny wheel of death, and he can, of course, spin it and I guess just absolutely mutilate human beings, judging by the size of that thing. But yeah, you know, it's pretty decent. I like it. I like that they kind of went all out with it. I would have liked maybe a better way to attach it. I think even just a couple of pegs that you just like jam in the end, you know, just fold in the hand and jam it in the end, or, you know, something like that. But overall, it looks pretty good, and honestly, yeah, it's really, really solid figure overall. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for my review of Mpm-5 movie masterpiece Barricade. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please hit that like button. It really does help me out. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll have more Transformer stuff coming for you real soon, including MPM Ironhide. As soon as he gets released, I'll hopefully have him en route and in hand before too long. And that'll be exciting. I'll do a review as soon as I can on that guy. But in the meantime, thank you so very much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.